Hey everybody, my name is Paul Esden Jr., aka Boy Green. Welcome to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/BoyGreen25. And through all the craziness of the pro days and the draft, we're still recapping all of the free agents the New York Jets added this offseason. And we're talking with different experts on some of those free agents that are coming in. On today's episode, I'm connecting with an old friend of mine, Brad Weiss, who is the site expert for Just Blog Baby, all things Las Vegas Raiders. Check it out, FanSided.com. Joins me to talk about Lamarcus Joyner joining the New York Jets. Let's welcome him in. Brad, what's happening, man?
Hey, Paul. What's up, buddy? It's great to talk to you again.
Yeah, man. It's been a long time. So, let's get with Lamarcus Joyner. First off, why did he become a free agent? Why didn't the Raiders retain Lamarcus Joyner?
Oh, man. I mean, he came on 2019. He was supposed to be one of the fixes for our secondary. The Raiders, our secondary hasn't been good for a pretty long time. So when we were able to get him, he was coming off a really good season for the Rams. So the whole fan base was excited. He was got to it was Oakland then. He got to Oakland and he had issues, and some of them were his fault, some of them weren't. He was a free safety with the Rams. He comes to us, they put him in the nickel. He had struggles there, and just never really meshed with Paul Guenther, and eventually his contract was a little too much, and they had to make a move. But wasn't the player we were expecting to get. But a lot of times, you think he might have been out of position.
Yeah, that's very interesting, and it goes to what the Jets are looking to add here. Obviously, the Jets like the versatility, but he obviously had a lot of success at safety with the Rams. Why was there a forcing of a square peg in a round hole? If and when it wasn't working with the Raiders, why didn't they say, you know what, let's go back to what he did really well with the Rams? It didn't seem like they chose that option.
Yeah, with the Raiders, it's about depth, really. They didn't have a lot of depth, at corner. They had some guys they liked at safety. They brought in Jeff Heath. He had Eric Harris. They drafted Abram in the first round. So they felt like they had pieces at safety, wrongly, but they felt they had pieces there. And in terms of corner, they struggled. They got Trayvon Mullen in the second round back in 2019, and he's been a nice piece so far. But outside of him, they kind of missed with Damon Arnett this past year. The jury's still out on him. But corner has been a real issue. So they tried to play him there. I think it's another one of those reasons why Paul Guenther isn't with the Raiders anymore. Kind of stuck in his ways and never made a lot of moves, moving people around. We saw the same thing. The following year, we grabbed Corey Littleton from the Rams, and he had his worst year as a pro last year with us. So hoping Gus Bradley can turn things around, but unfortunately, Joyner's not going to be there for it.
And let's talk about Joyner's size. For most people like me remember him back at the Florida State days. He's a smaller guy. It's almost like a Bob Sander-ish kind of size for Lamarcus. Has durability been an issue at all during his time with the Raiders?
No, he's been okay in that respect. No real issues. I mean, the Raiders as a whole have had problems in the secondary, keeping guys healthy, things like that. But it was never really a size thing with Joyner. It was just more him out of position, and the Raiders not knowing what to do with his skill set. With the Rams, he was a ball hawk. He got a lot of turnovers. He was an exciting player, and that was kind of the hope when we got him. But unfortunately, it never worked out. But I think if the Jets put him back where he's supposed to be in free safety, I think you're gonna like the player that you get.
Again, we're speaking with Brad Weiss, the site expert for Just Blog Baby. You can see it there on his polo, covering all things Las Vegas Raiders for FanSided, and love it. And Lamarcus Joyner, by the way, signed a one-year deal with the New York Jets in free agency. He got a little bit of it guaranteed, about $2.5 million in his total guarantees, and much of that at signing. It's just a one-year deal. It's a flyer deal. But let's talk about what Lamarcus Joyner does well. What in a perfect world, Lamarcus Joyner is playing, let's just say, in his position. What does he bring to a football team? Let's talk about the pros first.
The pros, if he's playing free safety, I think he's that good center fielder that you kind of need. He's got a good nose for the ball. We saw that when he was in Los Angeles. the one thing we did see with the Raiders, which I think Jets fans will like, is he's not afraid to come up and make a hit. Despite his size, he seems to like to get his nose in there and go after the backs and the tight ends and stuff like that. So he's a tough kid, and I think playing on a 1-year deal, he's got a lot to prove. We gave him a big contract based on what he did coming out of Los Angeles, and people may be down on him now, but I think right scheme, right fit. The Jets got an outstanding coaching staff. You guys, I feel, are trending in the right direction. Absolutely, with Saleh. So I think he'll be able to kind of find the right spot for Joyner. And I think that, a lot of Raiders fans won't agree with me, but I think you guys will be happy with the player you get.
Hey, we love to hear that. Again, we're here on youtube.com/boygreen25. All things New York Jets all the time. And let's go to some of the cons. Obviously, there's a reason, as you said, Lamarcus Joyner ended up being a free agent, both from the Raiders and eventually the Rams as well. Where are some of the areas he struggles, whether it's coverage, run support, whatever? I'm just throwing things out there. What are some of the things that potentially Joyner struggles in? And if he's put in that spot, you mentioned a slot corner and the nickel as well, as a potential place where if they put him in those positions, you're not going to see the same fruits of your labor.
Yeah, I would keep him away from that spot. I think you're absolutely right. Based on his size, what we saw was when he got singled out one-on-one with tight ends and running backs out of the backfield that were a little bigger, sometimes he was, found himself out of position. He struggled in coverage over the middle sometimes. So best case scenario for him would be, you give him a deep half and let him do what he does best, which is he tracks the ball very well. He'll go up, he'll make the play. But in terms of run support, coverage, you're covering tight ends, you just don't want to put him, you definitely don't want to have him out on an island like that, because we saw a lot of times where 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, there's Travis Kelce over the middle catching the ball over Lamarcus or a situation like that. So put him deep and let him work.
And Brad, before we get you out of here, a couple of quickies. First off, this is my first time saying thank you for the Hail Mary against my New York Jets last year. That, of course, sent Greg Williams to the retirement home, which I'm sure he appreciates. So thank you for that. And I got to say also, I've always been intrigued by the Raiders. I am a history buff of the NFL. I respect history. I love the history of the game. And John Gruden is one of the great personalities and, quite frankly, a really good coach that I want to see him turn around the Raiders. I want the Raiders to be a success. I thought when they escaped the Jets, I'm like, perfect. The Raiders can go on that trajectory. They can try to. I think we talked about it on my podcast, The Jet Zone, about it. And I really just want to see this team back in the playoffs. And with 7 teams in each conference, it seems like the Raiders are close.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And, we had issues with the salary cap. Obviously, we made a lot of headlines trading away Rodney Hudson, traded away Gabe Jackson. So we kind of revamped the whole offensive line. Trent Brown, he only played half the time, but when he was in, he was pretty dominant at right tackle. So offensive line went from a strength to a question mark, which was surprising to me, even as somebody who covers the team. Defense is really where the issue was last year, right? We were top 10 offense and the bottom 3 defense. So Gus Bradley comes in. They did a couple nice moves in terms of the defensive line, brought back the guys they needed to bring back, and Jonathan Hankins and Nicholas Morrow. And I think Bradley's going to do a nice job with the linebackers and up front. But as it seems to be the case all the time, and you brought me on here to talk Joyner, it's the secondary, right? We've done nothing in the secondary. We brought in no corners, no safeties. We did, get a little cap room. So, people are thinking maybe Richard Sherman comes in, a veteran. We got a lot of young guys at corner. But fixing that side of the ball is going to get them to the next level. I think when you look at our offense, you had a 1,000-yard rusher, you had a 1,000-yard receiver in Darren Waller. Carr threw for 4,000 yards again for the 3rd straight season. He still gets a lot of slack from Raider Nation, but he's done well since Gruden's come. So I think they're close, and hopefully Gus Bradley's what we need, and we can finally get some stops once in a while.
It's funny you mentioned that nugget, Richard Sherman. Again, there's the obvious connections to Robert Saleh, and I think it was it must have been the podcast that Sherman does with Chris Collinsworth at Gruden, right? Said, get off the phone, let's chat a little bit. It seems like if and when Richard Sherman's going to land somewhere, it seems like it could be the Jets with the Saleh connections. Or the Raiders. And from a Jets perspective, they haven't done diddly at corner. Sure, they brought in Joyner, great, but corner, I'm like, what the hell? It's like that gif with the guy with the stick. Hey, you gonna do something about it? I don't know.
Do something.
Yeah,
that's yeah. No, I agree. I thought we were gonna lose a draft pick when Gruden was kind of pandering to Sherman there, but we got lucky.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Brad, it's always a joy catching up with you, my man, and I look forward to these all the time. Anytime we can do it, you're doing great work at Just Blog Baby. Love it, and obviously, I love all the giveaways. For those who don't follow Brad Weiss, this is a guy that I don't know. Your house just must be empty. You just must sit in an empty house in the middle of your floor and just look around and go, all those things I had were nice, because you just do all these constant giveaways. Give us a little tease. I know this is a Jets fandom here, but nonetheless, it's cool stuff. I find it cool. You're a great follow. The giveaways things, where did that come from? And give us a sneak peek of where people could follow you.
Yeah, I took over Just Blog Baby probably 3 or 4 years now, and we've built up a pretty nice following, and it's done a lot for me, my family. And it's an honor to be a part of a small slice of Raider Nation. So I get to interact with a lot of people. Some of them are a little nuts, some of them are downright awesome. So anytime I can come across a mini helmet or something signed by one of the players, I like to give it back to the fan base. They're great. I've given away all the way from Alaska down to the tip of Florida. So Raider Nation is alive and well everywhere. So it's always nice to do that.
Wow. I don't know who's more giving, Brad Weiss or Greg Williams in prevent defense, but either way, it's always a lot of fun. Brad, thanks, man. We'll catch up again soon.
Thanks, Paul. You're the best.